Well, hey there, folks. I am Dr. Grimes, and I have the pleasure and the good fortune of guiding you through this semester of organizational leadership. Look back through my records, and this is the 10th semester that I've taught this class over the past 8 years. So I've come to be fairly familiar with the content. I make a little bit of change every time I teach it, but we use the same books. The first thing you need to know about this class is that there are 3 textbooks. Hopefully you saw that in the video that I sent you during the holiday break, and you've gotten at least the first of those. You're going to do a lot of reading every week, but it's pretty good reading. 2 of the 3 textbooks read very quickly, they read very smoothly, and you're going to have no problem reading them. The other textbook, the middle one, is much more academic, it's much more scholarly, and it's a little bit harder to read, but there's good information in there. And the design that I have for the class is that each week we'll have several chapters. In a couple of weeks there's 4. The first section of each book, there's 4 chapters, because generally the first chapter is very brief. In fact, in Eikenberry, the very first week of the second week of the semester, 3 of the first 4 chapters are extremely short, and there's 1 chapter with a lot of substance. So one of the weeks you'll have 4 chapters to read, but you've got, in my design, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to read those things, so it's not that bad. And then I would say that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you're interacting with your team. And the idea that I would have is that as you read Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you're going to pick out the idea that really means the most to you about what leadership is, or how can you apply it, or how you can interact with folks that you work with differently because of that information. And all of you in the team will have an opportunity on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to share your thought and talk about leadership within your group. And then each week, one of you will record a little video, and you might choose to use some ideas that your teammates shared with you, but the really focus is, in about 4 minutes or so, you really lay out that idea from one of the chapters that means a lot to you. And the idea is not that you're telling me what you learned, but you're kind of doing the video as a mentor to a younger colleague in the office place. And you're trying to mentor them on leadership, and that 4-minute video is designed to help them to begin to understand this concept and how they can implement it, how that can make them a better manager, a better leader if they build this concept into their leadership style. So you'll want to go into the videos not thinking about Dr. Grimes being your audience, but picturing in your mind as you record somebody that you work with, and you're talking to them and helping them grow as a leader. In those weeks that you do the video, your teammates are just going to be writing a short little summary, 1 or 2 pages, along those same lines of that thing that they really got inspired by from the reading. So over the course of 13 weeks, as we read chapters of various books, in 3 weeks you're going to record a video, and in 10 weeks you're going to write a little summary. And each week it'll be a different person from your group or your team recording the video. So over the course of a 5-week span, you'll do 1 video somewhere, week 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and you'll do 4 summaries in the other weeks that you don't do the video. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in this video, but that's the overview of what I want to do for this semester. It's all about the books, what you take out of them to apply to your leadership style, and how you could use this information to be a mentor to somebody else who's coming up as a leader behind you. What I want to do for the rest of this little video, we're 4 minutes in, is to go over a few of the highlights of the syllabus so that we're both very, very clear about what I'm looking for. Let's see if I can get this to be the whole screen. There you go. All right, my cell phone number is there. You're certainly welcome to text me or to call me. When I'm not at work, I don't always have my cell phone with me, so if you call, you may end up leaving a message unless one of the kids grabs it. And if you leave a message, allow me later that day or maybe the next day to return it. If you text me, I'll probably return that during the day. But remember that if you text me, I don't know who you are because you're not in my contact list. So say this is Brian from World Leadership or whatever. And then give me the information that you need. But there's my cell phone number if you need me. Use me. I'm in my office generally during the school year, about 8:30 after I drop my child off at school until about 2:30 when I try to get home and get ready for him to come home. Typically I drop off in the mornings and Mom picks up in the afternoons. A couple of things we're going to try to do is just really understanding leadership and how we can grow and how we can help others grow. Here's the 3 textbooks that you have already seen. Attendance verification, you've got to do the introductory discussion, which is recording a little bit of a video about yourself, and the check-in quiz. Both of those have to be done by Sunday night the 16th, or you might be dropped from the course. Do them both, please. The overview you can read on your own. That's kind of what I talked about in the beginning of this video. From a grading standpoint, those 2 enrollment verification activities that we talked about up here, the discussion video is worth 40 points, I think, and the check-in quiz is worth 10 points. That's 50 points, easy towards your grand total. You will, as I said, do 3 videos on your own during the year. We've set up 13 in the grade book. You'll actually have a grade of anything from 0 to 100 on 3 of them, and you'll have zeros on the other ones. Those will be dropped, and we'll talk about that in just a second. In the weeks that you're not doing the video, they're going to be the summaries that are 1 to 2 pages, maybe 20 points apiece. So in 10 of the 13 weeks that you're not doing a video, you'll get a grade of anything from 0 to 20. In the 3 weeks that you're doing the video, you're going to submit this summary file with a brief statement that says did the video, and you're going to get a 0, but that'll be dropped at the end of the semester. When we get into the North House book, there's 15 chapters that we're particularly interested in, and in 10 of those chapters, all of them have a little summary assessment exercise at the end, but in 10 of them, we're actually going to do the assessment, and you're going to think about what you learned from doing the assessment. Some weeks there's 3 assessments, and you pick 2 out of the 3. In some weeks, there's an assessment in a chapter I really don't like, so you'll do the other 2, but not have an option to do that one. But each of those, the summary, basically, and I'm getting a little bit into the next page here, in the summary, it's going to be a written assignment. Part 1 is you tell me what your score was, and you tell me what that score meant. And then in part 2, maybe part 2 is what it meant, like I scored a 72 and that's a moderate or whatever, or I scored a 13 on this and a 17 on that. The 13 means I'm high in this category, and the 17 means that I'm extremely high in this category. And then part 3 is you're going to spend a good solid paragraph, and when I say a paragraph, I don't mean a couple of lines, I mean maybe 8 or 10 lines, where you say, this is what I've learned from that. This is kind of like those topic videos that you're going to do. This is how I can apply this to my leadership style, how I can be different as a result of this. So 10 assessments, 2 per week over a 5-week span, 10 points apiece. At the end of each textbook, I want you to think back over the whole book. Now, you've been doing summaries or videos on 3 chapters at a time, one idea from each of 3 chapters, or from any one of the 3 chapters. But at the end of the book, I want you to think back over the whole book. And there's going to be an assignment that you do, a writing assignment that's, again, just a page or 2. None of these things are designed to be term papers or mini-term papers. All of them are a page or 2. Just summarize, condense the main ideas. And in the book summaries, you'll go back to the 5 summaries that you did during the process of doing the book, but it's an overview. What do I take away from this book as a whole that I can use to be a better leader? Each one of those 3 books worth 100 points. Then there's a project at the end of the semester. I'll talk about that more in just a minute. And a final exam that is a short writing assignment where you just think back over the semester and how have you grown and things like that. In order to get an A, you got to get at least 1,035 points out of the 1,150 that are out there. To get a B, 920, and to check the class off as a C and not have to repeat it, excuse me, 805 points. I find in this class that it's very easy to get a B, and a lot of people get an A because the work is not difficult. It's just a lot of pages to read, and it's a page or 2 writing most weeks, maybe 3 or 4 pages. If you happen to be doing a summary and a book summary at the same week, so a little bit of writing. Going down through here, you need to read Sunday, Monday, Tuesday every week, get it all read. You need to be able to interact intelligently with your team on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So keep up with the reading and make sure that you can talk intelligently about the material. Enrollment verification we talked about. Those things are due by Sunday night the 16th. Topic applications, there's going to be one due every Sunday. You're either going to attach a URL file, or you're going to write in the little text submission box, not my week. So here you go, not my week if you're not doing the video, the URL if you are doing the video. Now, one thing to remember here too that's important is that in the week that you're not doing the video, you still have to submit this assignment, even though there's not a URL to attach. If you do submit the assignment with not my week, you'll get a 0 and we'll drop it. If you don't submit the assignment at all, you're going to get, instead of a 0, you're going to get a -50. And it won't show up in the Georgia View gradebook because you can't put a negative there, but it's going to be in my spreadsheet. So it'll reduce your overall point total by 50 points every week that you don't submit that assignment saying not my week. So make sure that you submit the assignment with just not my week so that you can get a 0 instead of a -50. The 0 will be dropped, the -50 will not. Same thing with the summaries. You're either doing the video and you'll submit an assignment that says did the video, or you won't do the video and you'll submit in the text submission box a cut and paste from what you've done in a Word document where you summarize what you learned. If you put in the summary of what you learned, you get up to 20 points. If you did the video and you submit something saying did the video, you get a 0, which gets dropped. But if you did the video and you don't submit this assignment at all because you submitted the video assignment, you're going to get a -10. So you see, in both cases, if you fail to tell me that if you don't submit the assignment with an explanation of why it's empty, I did the video, or it's not my week, you're going to get -half of what it would have been worth if you did it. Hopefully that makes sense. That may be an area where you want to post something to Ask Dr. Grimes in the discussion boards, or text me or email me or something like that. The assessments we talked about, 2 per week. In those 5 weeks we're doing his textbook, up to 10 points apiece. Basically, you do the assessment, you score the thing, and in a short little writing assignment, you tell me what the score is, you tell me what the score means, and you tell me what you learned from it. The book assignments, book summaries, again, look back over the whole book. The project, toward the end of the semester, after we've read Eikenberry and for the most part Northouse, you'll have learned a lot about characteristics or habits of leaders and theories about leadership. And I'm going to want you to go to a person that you consider to be a leader. I'm going to ask you to try to avoid one of your parents or a relative, but go to somebody that maybe you're kind of close to, but you don't have that same relationship as you would with your dad or your uncle or somebody like that, but somebody that you consider to be a leader. And I want you to, over the course of 2 or 3 different sessions, maybe 10 minutes apiece or one session of an hour or something, sit down with that person either on the phone or in the office and talk about leadership. What does leadership mean to you? How did you learn leadership? How do you teach it to other people? And then maybe go through some of what you've learned from the textbooks, like in the Eikenberry, continual learning, or decision making, or focusing on customers, or things like that, and maybe ask your leader what they think about that idea from Eikenberry. Or you want to talk about the path goal theory in Northouse, or you want to talk about servant leadership from Northouse and what your leader thinks about that. When you've done this interview and you've gotten some ideas from your leader, then you want to, yeah, you guessed it, create a little video where you'll talk about what that person said about leadership. I don't want you to video your interview and clip in little sections of your video. I just want you to talk about what that person said. We talked about this concept, and I was really amazed that my leader friend echoed the ideas from the book or added this thing to it. But you want to do a little video that's 4 or 5 minutes maybe, where you talk about what happened during that interview and what you learned. Okay, so that project is worth up to 100 points. The final exam, as I said, is just a short little writing assignment where you reflect back on what you've learned from the 3 textbooks, from the assessments that you did in Northouse, and from the interview, that you did with that leader. Expectations there, usually I'll have at least the summaries. Let me take that back. If you do the topic video, I'll have all of those not my weeks graded probably the Monday after the Sunday when they're due. Most things, though, if you give me at least a week, I'll exceed your expectations by having grades out there before that. But who knows from week to week what goes on. If I commit to you on Tuesday and something happens, meetings or whatever, then it's like, yeah, he didn't get it graded by Tuesday. So give me up to a week. Most of the time I'll have it before that. Because you will be interacting with your teammates, be nice to them. This is not the kind of class where you're going to disagree and have strong opinions on anything. So I don't think that's going to be a real problem. Log in regularly to Georgia View to see if I've posted any notes out there. If you get COVID or something, please let me know as soon as you are aware, because that'll impact your ability to interact with your teammates and do the assignments and things. If I get COVID, I'll put a note out there because that could impact my ability to grade or interact with you. And it really, since we're online working at your own pace and you're not interacting with each other regularly, just a little bit every week, you should be able to manage the quarantining or whatever else with the COVID. If you know now that you're going to be out, you're going to be on a business trip, you're going to be on vacation a particular week, go ahead and talk to your teammates and say, hey, you know, week 14, I'm going to be out of town, so I'd rather not do the video that week. And you guys can kind of work it amongst yourselves. I don't care who does the video each week. As you have 3 of them, I don't require that if you do the first one from Eikenberry that you also do the first one from Northhouse. You 5 in your team can divvy up the video weeks however you want to. So you may be the first one in Eikenberry and the 4th one in Northhouse and the 3rd one in Collins. Who knows? I've got a typo here. Sunday doesn't have 2 N's in it. But I want this stuff turned in by Sunday night at 11:59. If you've got it in by then, you're eligible for full points. I will take it as late as Monday night at 11:59, but if you submit it on Monday, you're going to lose some points for being late. Starting Tuesday morning, it's a 0. Unless you've told me before Sunday it's going to be late, because I don't want to have to go back and grade yours separate from anybody else's. So go ahead and set your calendar. Sunday nights, things are due. All right. You might, as I say here, just in case COVID rears its ugly head, you might want to have a spouse or a family member who has my phone number. And if you, for some reason, even if it's not COVID, God forbid that maybe you're in an accident or something and you're in the hospital, if somebody has my phone number, maybe if you can't get to your phone for some reason, you can have your dad text me and say, hey, Johnny is going to be out this week because of COVID or out because of a hospital or whatever. And at least then I've got communication and we can work around assignments that are due so that you can get them in later. Just general stuff we have to put on here. Here's the main dates. Here's the basic schedule that we're going to follow. Notice again that you're in a team of 5. One of you will do the application video. The others will do the summary document. All right. The Eikenberry book summary is due by Sunday night, a full week after we finish Eikenberry. Here's where we start with the Northhouse assessments. There should be an N right here in front of that. There is the Northhouse book summary. Here's the Collins book summary. The project you'll be able to work on because there's no reading this week, but the project will be due Sunday the 1st. Final exam will be open from I think Friday the 6th until Sunday the 8th. But also notice, because we've got 5 weeks of Eikenberry and 5 weeks of Northhouse. One of you does a video every week. In Collins, there's only 3 sets of readings. So 1 week, 2 of you will do a video, and you don't have to get together on it. I don't want you to record it together. I want each of you to do your own independent video. But 2 of you will submit a video that week, and the other 3 will not. Same thing in week number 14 on assignment 12. 2 of you will submit a video, 3 of you will not, and then the next week the last of you will submit your video and the other ones will do the summary. Hopefully that makes a whole lot of sense in terms of what we're expecting. You've got a really clear idea of what you have to do. We'll go back to full camera here, and I'll wind up my nearly 20-minute video here saying I hope you understand the syllabus. I hope you understand what I'm looking for and that you're getting a vision for what I want you to do here is to learn about leadership, no matter how long you've been in leadership or whether you would say, I'm not a leader, I've never been a leader. By the end of the semester, I want you to be a better leader than you are as you watch this video. And hopefully the books and the assignments and the interactions with each other and the interactions with your leader that you select to do your project on will accomplish that goal of making you a better leader. And if you're already a leader, maybe you'll really focus more on developing the leaders around you or the leaders that come behind you. If you don't have some clarification that you still need, if you've got questions about the syllabus or expectations that I have, be sure to send me an email or post on Ask Dr. Grimes. Otherwise, hopefully you know what you need to get the A that you want. And I'm going to say up front that it should be fairly easy for you to do it. If you do the work, you have a reasonable quality, shouldn't be any difficulty at all getting an A out of this class. And I look forward to awarding bunches of them at the end of the semester. If this is your last semester, then congratulations to you on being that close to graduation. Encourage those who come along behind you. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns. That's it for now. Looking forward to a good semester. Bye.